Okay, it is saying that we are live, and let's see if we actually are live. Coming up on 2 minutes late. So it's not terrible for a Sunday. Let's see what the audio sounds like. G-Town, California in the house. It's my special pronunciation. It is saying that we Okay, we are good. We are good. Good. I'm wearing cashmere again today. This another oldie but a goodie. 100% cashmere for comfort and warmth. And so this is part 2. This is a continuation from yesterday's broadcast, and we've got a VIP in the house. If you want to send me an email to CraigShipp@gmail.com, my name at gmail.com, I'll send you a Skype invite if you want to Skype in. Leah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Leia, L-E-Y-A. If you want to Skype in, send me an email and I will email you my Skype. And I'm launching Skype right now just in case we end up doing that. And it would be really cool if you could show your watch. But let me know in the chat if you can do that. And if you do send me an email, let me know so that I'll be sure to check the email and send you back my Skype handle. In the meantime, the reason that I'm a minute or two late is I did open up a bunch of tabs on links of things that were suggested from the previous video that I look at and talk about. And so we're going to have a jam-packed show here. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. My girlfriend says, hi, hope this will be an interesting show. Well, there you go. Well, hi to your girlfriend. Absolutely. It's great to have a girlfriend that is into watches and expensive, really cool things. That's really neat. Now, sometimes it can be expensive to buy her those expensive, really cool things, but that's a whole nother issue. But it's good to know she's into it. All right, so let's dive in. And I've got some notes here that I'm going to be referring to throughout the show. So let me see if I can pull those up here real quick. And I don't have my dual monitor set up over here, but so it's a little challenging for me. Okay, let's see here. Left a comment above for you. Okay, howdy. Went to San Diego Auto Show yesterday. Porsche, Mercedes, and Audi and Bavarian money wasters didn't bother showing up. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. It's 5 a.m. here, so I think it's not a good timing. Sorry. Okay. No worries. I'm going to try to do some shows at better times, different time slots to mix things up so that for folks that this is not a good time slot, I'll be able to do that. So, okay, so let's get into it. Let me look at these links. Let me start at the beginning. And, okay, so that's that. Okay. Okay, so the higher priced Elegance Collection watches, the 003, I believe that's a platinum watch. And from what I've been able to tell, I cannot tell if that's a limited edition watch or not. You know, Grand Seiko is really lean on information often. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. But this watch is a little bit thinner than the watch in question that we're talking about, the 18 karat gold stunner, which we'll get to. This watch is a little bit thinner, and this has the higher end movement. The movement is the 9R02 movement, and this is again to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the spring drive. That's in platinum, $57,000. And let's move on. Here is another platinum stunner. Now this one is limited to 30 pieces, and this is the textured one. And I'm not sure if that dial is also platinum or not. Again, very lean information here from Grand Seiko. But that is limited to 30 pieces, and it says so right there, limited edition of 30 pieces. So I would assume maybe the other one's not limited? I don't know. Maybe you all can chime in and let me know. Let's see. But I can tell you I'm still wearing my lovely oh, wow. Okay. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that puppy. Absolutely, we're going to talk about that. It's a grail for quite a few people out there. Very limited edition watch, from what I understand. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. But back to this, the 001 Stunner here. First of all, I do want yellow gold. I do want 18 karat yellow gold because I want it to match this pin. I want it to match my money clip. I want it to match when I'm wearing cufflinks. I have gold cufflinks. I want it to match those. The neat thing about yellow gold, whether it be 18 karat yellow gold or 14 karat yellow gold, it pretty much matches. You start getting into the rose golds and all, and they can be different tints, and they can. I'm like, why go that way? Why confuse the issue? Why not just stick with yellow gold, the tried and true for thousands of years? Yellow gold is the way to go, in my opinion. Same thing with the Date 8. Buy the yellow gold. Absolutely buy the yellow gold in any Rolex. Do not pass go. Do not buy rose gold or Rolex or whatever the heck they're calling it these days. Don't do it. It's a fail. But anyway, back to the subject at hand, these stunners. So this one, again, a whole lot of money, $76,000, and you're paying in part because it's a limited edition to 30 pieces. I don't give a rat's rear end about a limited edition watch. I'm buying my watch to wear it. I don't really care that it's limited or not limited. I certainly don't want to pay a premium for the limited. And in some ways, in my opinion, there's an advantage to it not being limited, where there's more around, and if you ever need a part or something, it might be easier to deal with than something that's very obscure. That's just me. All right, so let's go to the next watch. This is the Stunner, the SBGY002 that I am considering. And this watch is a little bit thicker. It's is it 10.2 mils? Let's see how thick this one is. This one is, 10.2 millimeters thin, which is plenty thin enough. That's fine. That's exactly where I would want a dress watch to be. If it was a little bit thinner, that's fine too. But you can get to the point where it looks too delicate if it's too thin. There's some of these like 7 millimeter thick watches and stuff. I don't know about that. I think 10 is a sweet spot. Anything up to 12 mils, I think, is acceptable for a dress watch. This one is about 12 mils, and it works. I can push it into dress watch status. As you know, my cuffs are kind of tight, but this does fit underneath the cuff, so that will work. The other thing that's been debated in some of the comments is the deployant clasp and how much thickness that adds. Again, I won't know until I see, touch, and feel this watch and try it on and see how it really works on wrist to see if that's going to be an issue. Of course, you can always go back to a standard buckle. You don't have to stay with the deployant clasp. Okay, so let's go back here. So, here is the article that I showed the other day in part 1. If somebody hasn't seen part 1, feel free to go back and watch part 1. I'll try to cross-link these videos. But this is the watch again in question, the 18 karat gold Stunner. And I really like the case design. And we're going to talk about this when we talk about some of these other watches. I really like the rounded lugs. I like the relatively short lugs so that it fits to the wrist nicely, and the nice curvature, the downward curvature. I think that's going to hug the wrist and sit on the wrist very nicely. And the fact that everything's nice and rounded, I think makes it more comfortable and makes it, to me, more visually appealing than a watch with squared off lugs and with lugs that look like they were kind of like thrown onto the case as opposed to being a fluid part of the case. And we'll get to that. I'll review that when I go to some of these other watches. Yep, the SBGZ003 isn't limited. Okay, there we go. We got some information there. Okay, so Kray Door, Ehrlich 2, or Patek Aquanaut on a plastic strap. Tough. Yeah, I wouldn't buy anything on a plastic strap for sure. There's a little bit of humor being thrown into the marketplace here. So here, let's take another look at this article. This is on a blog to watch, and the link is in the description. So you're seeing some of these stunners. And to me, you know, that platinum stunner looks nice. But for me, for my dress watch, again, I want 18 karat yellow gold. I've already got a steel watch. It looks like steel. I've already got a titanium watch that pretty much looks like steel. I don't want a gold watch that could double as a steel watch. I mean, I never got that concept. I never got the concept of buying something in platinum or white gold and paying a huge amount of money and, you know, it just kind of looking like a steel watch. I just don't get that, but hey, it is what it is. Let's see here. Have you asked Archie about the deployment class? He has 3 Pateks with 1. I don't converse with Archie on a regular basis, and I don't get invited to any of his live streams to speak of. I was on 1 or 2, maybe, but yeah, I don't. I'm not hip enough to be in his crowd. Okay, so let's move on here. Let's look at another article here. Okay, here we go. Now, here's the, and I don't know how to pronounce this. Urki, how do you pronounce that? Anyway, this is the stunner, the Kray Door stunner. And, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, let's face it, it's absolutely gorgeous. But I'm not a fan of the case design. I'm not a fan of the lugs that look like they were kind of just stuck on the case and they don't flow into the case. And a lot of watches have that design and a lot of people love it. And so if you love it, that's fine. I just don't like that design. Let's see here. We got a couple more questions. I love dress Pateks myself, but not their Nautilus and Aquanaut. Yeah, I guess I would pass on those, absolutely. I'd rather go with Rolex and stick with a company that does sport watches as their bread and butter. And why would you pay a premium for an ugly watch with some of them with like the exposed screws and everything and integral bracelets? I mean, why would you pay a premium for a watch with an integral bracelet? I mean, that's a total fail. They're not even attractive. They're ugly watches by any standard. And people are just going crazy over these watches, and I mean crazy. Nuts, I'm telling you. Nuts out there. In my opinion, Craig, feel that the 002 is too similar to the GS you used to own. Since you have two GS watches already, you should get a Rolex back in the mix. The day-date would be perfect. And that was suggested. Here's the reasoning, and I talked about this in part 1. Here's the reason why I've kind of dismissed another day-date. Reason I sold mine is it's not that legible. It's not that easy for me to read. So to wear as a everyday watch, which is what I would wear a day-date for, it's just not very legible. So that watch right there is a whole lot more legible for me to wear day to day. And then I have this watch also to wear traveling or something like that. It's a GMT, and where I need something that I can use more as a dress watch that's more compact than that diver, I have this watch to solve that problem. What I'm looking for now is a straight-up dress watch, a watch to wear occasionally for dress, and I love the spring drive. I love the accuracy of the spring drive, and I love the robustness and durability of the spring drive, and I like the looks of this watch. I think it's gorgeous, and again, I have to see it in person. I have not seen it in person yet. So, I mean, I might see it in person and I might say I hate it. Let's get a better picture up here. Where's the blog to watch article? Is this it? Yeah, this is the blog to watch article. Let's get a better picture up here, for God's sakes. Good. Grand Seiko can't even put decent pictures on their website. What a fail. But anyway, that looks to me to be a gorgeous watch. Again, I have to see it in person. But to buy a date 8 as an occasional use watch to me is antithetical to what the thing is designed for. It's designed to be an everyday heavy use watch. And I don't want to take it out, have to unscrew the crown, have to set the day and the date, set the time. You know, with this dress watch, there is no date to worry with. Okay, so it's very easy if it does stop between uses. It's got a 72-hour power reserve, but if it does stop, it's very easy to just set the time and wind it and grab it and go. Whereas a date 8, you know, I'd want to set the date and the day, and I'd, you know, you got to unscrew the crown every time to do that, and blah, blah, blah. It didn't, no. It's not the watch I would want for an occasional use watch. I would buy a date 8 if I was going to wear it every day. And again, the legibility problem. Even with a date 840, it's not anywhere near as legible as that watch right there. So that's the issue there. And the date 840, in my opinion, looks a little bit big on wrist, and it's heavy. And so again, this one being titanium is extremely comfortable to wear all the time. So believe me, I've thought these things through. So yeah. It doesn't bother me to have 3 Grand Seikos if they're the right watch. I'm focusing in on the right watch, not the brand. I mean, you know, of course, if I want the spring drive, I could pretty much have to go Grand Seiko or Kray Door, right? For the most part. Okay, so okay, here's another question. Hi, Craig. Was wondering if you know if Grand Seiko does long-term support on their products, i.e., I can take a vintage Rolex to the service center, no problems of servicing. Can GS do the same? I have heard no indication that they will not. And you know, I'm pushing 60. I'll be 62 in February, or is it 63? Wow, this is depressing. I think I'm 62 in February. So I'm pretty sure that watch there will be running when I'm 6 foot under, and I will not have to do any servicing between now and then. That watch will literally run for decades without any servicing whatsoever, and so will that one. The spring drive is extremely robust. And of course the 9F, it'll go for 50 years before it needs to be serviced. So I don't think servicing is going to be any kind of an issue for me, given my age, and I don't think it'll be an issue, period. I think you're going to be good to go on servicing. I don't think it'll be a problem. I've sent you an email of a photo of my deployant clasp. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at that. Bum, 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 bum. Uh-oh, I don't see it. I don't see the email. Why don't I see the email? Now remember, it's CraigShipp@gmail.com. There's 2 P's on ship. Okay, make sure you got that right. But I don't see it yet. Don't see the email yet, but that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes Gmail is a little bit funky. I'm refreshing again. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Don't see the email. So maybe it will come through. I'll check again in a little while. All right, so let's move along here. All right, so the Kray Door is stunning. Okay, I think we can all agree. Let's go through here and look here. This is absolutely a stunner. And now, see, I don't like the one with the power reserve on the front. That was the first version, right? The original. I don't like that. I would pass on that. There's a closer shot of the original. I'd pass on that. I'd get the one with the power reserve on the back. But yeah, this is a very limited item. Look at that. Look how stunning that is. And like I say, if you want a platinum or white gold watch, if you want that look, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's a stunner. Let's face it. but I do like the case design better on the 002 stunner. And yes, the detailing's a little bit better on this watch, on the movement and so forth, okay, but it's a lot more money. These are trade-offs that we all, it's trade-offs on any watch. There's no perfect watch out there. And some of the watches that you pay a ton of money for, like some of the real expensive Pateks and things like that, talk about servicing issues. My gosh, that can cost you an arm and a leg to get that puppy serviced. And they do tend to need it. They do tend to give trouble, just like a Ferrari or some other, high-strung thing. They do tend to give trouble and can be a problem. So I would tread lightly in the Patek arena. Okay, let's check and see if that email came through. Nothing. Nothing yet. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some other competitive options, some watches that were suggested. There's an article here comparing some watches that are under $20,000 that was suggested to me that I look at. Where's Brianna? Brianna is not here today. She is planning on coming to visit Friday and Saturday. If that happens, I'll try to get her on a live stream this weekend. I've got a lot of things going on this week, so we're not going to be doing much this week, but this weekend, starting Friday, stay tuned. Okay, the lack of a bracelet is huge for me. GS, as much as I like their watches, have nothing in their lineup to compete directly with the Date-8. No, they don't. No, if you want an 18-karat yellow gold daily driver, a watch to wear pretty much every day as a heavy use watch, there is nothing to compete with a Date-8. Period. I mean, in any brand. It's a hell of a buy. It's a hell of a lot of watch for the money if you think about it. Just try to name a watch that can compete with a Date-8, an 18-karat yellow gold Date-8 as a daily driver. I mean, it's just not out there. With the robust construction, with the waterproof, all that gold, that gorgeous design, that president bracelet, you cannot, there's nothing else that comes close. And these people that are spending a ton of money for these steel stunner Rolexes, Pepsi or whatever, they need to have their freaking head examined when they could take that money and buy a Date-8. Yeah, it'd be used Date-8, but you could get one in mint condition for the prices that people are paying. Let's say they're paying $15,000 for Pepsi. Some of these people, you could get a beautiful Date-8 for $15,000 all day long. Not a Date-8 40, but a Date-8 36, which I think is the way to go anyway. I think a mint 18238. That's a stunner. Okay, Craig, what do you think about getting a high quality clothes brush instead of those sticky lint rollers? I use a brush on my hats. I have real nice brushes that are horsehair, I guess, that I use to brush a hat. Or now the clothes, I keep them covered. I have like cloths that cover. It's hard to describe, that go over, that they're all hung. And they're all hung about 4 inches apart. Like I have all my sport coats together, and then I have my suits together, and I have like cloths that come down over the jacket like this, and come down about halfway. And so when I take them off, when I take one out, I have to kind of lift the cloth up and take it out. So it's kind of covered, so the dust doesn't settle on them that much, right? Because even in a closet, even in a walk-in closet, dust will settle on everything. And so, yeah, you have to take some precautions. And yes, you can absolutely brush them with a nice horsehair brush or something like that. Absolutely, I think you can brush them if you need to. Yeah. Don't dry clean these things any more often than you have to. I mean, I rarely dry clean any of this stuff because I have enough that I rotate. And it's not like in the wintertime you're sweating in a cashmere sport coat. I mean, you know, you don't need to, no. The dry cleaners can mess things up. Be careful about that. Okay, so let's keep on going here. These guys spending brainless premiums on Pepsis and Daytonas are mainly buying the watch to get validation on Instagram from people they neither know nor like. Good point. And somebody posted a Daytona the other day in one of the groups. Oh my, I got my Grail, you know, blah blah blah, you know. It's the perfect watch and all this stuff. And I replied, I said, well, you know, it's interesting because back in the day, they didn't sell very well because people realized that they were cluttered and hard to read and that a DATEJUST was a better watch to have, or if you could afford it, a Day-Date, or, you know, there were a lot of better options than the Daytona. The only thing the Daytona was good for is if somebody was a race car driver and wanted to time their laps or whatever, or was into horses and wanted to time things. Okay, fine. But for most purposes, it was a fail, and it didn't sell well. And guess what? All of that's still true today. There are a lot of better options than a Daytona. There's the Yacht-Master would be a better option. You still get the rounded case, the beautiful case. The case is very similar, by the way, the Yacht-Master case to the Daytona. It's very, very similar. You still get that beautiful case design. You still get 11.7 mils thick, but you don't get that cluttered dial. And you get a little more functionality because you've got that, you know, you got the platinum rotating bezel, which is easier to use than the chronograph function. Yeah, it's just, there's a whole lot of better options. The Daytona would be way down on my list of the watch that I would buy if I was buying another Rolex. And that's regardless of the fact that there's a premium. I mean, yeah, the premium, I wouldn't even dream of it. But then again, I buy watches that are functional to use and to wear and to enjoy. I don't buy them to impress people on social media. But that's just me. Okay, let's go into these watches that were suggested as competitive alternatives. Okay? So here we go. We've got 3 watches. And right off the bat, I can tell you that I don't like the case designs on any of these. Because again, they've got the round case, which is fine. But then they've got the lugs that are kind of like stuck on that don't really mold as eloquently into the case as the Grand Seiko ones do. Let's flip back. Okay, so this is the Kray Door article. Let's flip back to this one. Okay, you see the case design? You see how that lug just flows beautifully into the case? Okay, you're not seeing that here. You're not seeing that here. And to me, these watches just don't look as elegant. They just don't. And I don't like the small seconds hand. I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather just have the regular second hand, especially on the spring drive where you can see that beautiful sweep. So these are wonderful watches. But first of all, I want 18 karat yellow gold. And these aren't. Those 2 gold ones are rose gold. And I think the other one's what, white gold? So, yeah, I mean, I would pass. These would not be contenders for me for the ideal dress watch. Gorgeous on the back, gorgeous movements, but I think they'd also be less robust than less trouble-free than the Grand Seiko. The Grand Seiko spring drive, I'm sure, is going to be absolutely trouble-free and not need any kind of servicing for the foreseeable future. I don't think you can say the same thing about these 3 dress watches. I think, you know, it's very likely that they're going to need some servicing within 10 years, and it could be an issue. Could be expensive. So no, I don't think that these... Now, I love the cross on the Vacheron. I think it's cool. I think it's hip, right? But no. I don't think these compete with that puppy. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about that, as the Archie Luxury would say. Let's see. Let's see. I reckon that if you really want a great chronograph, then go for a 38 millimeter Zenith El Primero. Yes, I wouldn't want that either. Oh, wait. I think I mentioned I missed a few. Okay, here we go. Let me catch up on the comments. Did Rolex ever make a Datejust all gold? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They're not that common, but they did. The problem you're going to find is a lot of them are on a Jubilee bracelet in gold, and those Jubilees get even more stretch sometimes than the President bracelet. So, but, you know, that's the problem, is the bracelet. Yeah. And I hear you, I don't need the day of the week. I hear that, but it kind of goes along with the program. There's no real good option there as far as getting a Datejust, unless you want to go with a strap. If you want to buy just the head and put a nice leather strap on it, then yeah, you can get those all day long. And some of them were 14 karat gold back in the day. I'm not sure about Datejust, but definitely like an Oyster Perpetual date. I mean, some of those were 14 karat gold. So yeah, look around. That'd be kind of cool too. The older dates and lady Datejusts came in all gold. There you go. I reckon that if you really want a great, okay, I already read that. Down. People keep thinking that Rolex bubble will never burst and are foregoing funding their retirement plans and going into credit card debt to buy multiple steel Rolexes. Yeah, they think they're going to keep going up in value. I mean, it's just it's total insanity. I mean, who was it that mentioned it the other day? That guy with the real deep voice. Oh, and you know who else mentioned it? The London watch collector. Did you guys see his video about his collection, his review of his collection? He talked about how these are investments and how certain models, he mentioned, they'll just never go down in price. They'll always hold their value or whatever. I mean, well, here's the thing. They might always be worth what they're worth now in dollars, but here's the thing. The dollar is losing its value rapidly, 2 to 3% a year. It's depreciating in value. So even if you have a watch today that's worth $15,000 and 10 years from now it's worth $15,000, you've lost big time, because that $15,000 won't be able to buy anything because the dollar's being devalued. So you better hope that that watch is worth $30,000 or $40,000, and that's generally not the case. They generally don't go up in value like that. It's a very rare situation when the watch is going to keep up with inflation. I'll put it that way. Let's see, the price of a 116,500 already near to lovely finished Minerva Movement Mont Blanc chronograph. Okay. Rightly put, Jaden. And remember that Rolex makes 800,000 to 1 million watches every year. Personally, I'm not a fan of current steel sports Rolex models. I much prefer pre-ceramic models. Only modern models I buy are the OP39, Explorer 39, and Datejust and Date 8s. I'd add the Yacht-Master into there too. It's got a beautiful case design. I'm with you, though. I wouldn't buy any of the super case models. I kind of would make an exception for the Pepsi or the Batgirl, but because they soften the lugs a little bit on those. But even that, they didn't go far enough. It's still too super case for me. I think I'd pass on them too. Yeah, Mark Goldberg said that in 20 years, the black GMT will double in price in 20 years, 10K to. Yeah, but that's a very poor investment. Is that all he's looking for in a return on an investment? Is for it to double in 20 years? That's insane. He should be getting better returns than that. Hey, put that money in Bitcoin, boss. Yeah, it's going to probably do a lot more than that. But yeah, he's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's way too heavy in steel. Way too heavily invested in steel. Out of those three, I'd pick the FPJ. Let's see here. I don't know. I mean, for a dress watch, no, I don't think I'd want that blue dial and the blue strap. For me, yeah, I would pass. I think, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's even a close call. I think that this puppy right here is a more attractive piece. There's a better shot of it. I think it's a more attractive piece. Let's see what we got. Let's see what other picture we have here of the gold stunner. And again, I'm not going to make my decision. There's another good picture of it. I'm not going to make my decision until I see, touch, and feel this piece. It's got to really be impressive to me for me to pull the trigger. Because this could be the last luxury watch I buy. It's very possible. Which watch is more rare? The FPJ CB is also highly overpriced in the current market, okay? Rolex is never going to compete with Patek Philippe in prices. They make too many watches every year to chase after that clientele base, and they'd be pricing themselves out of their own market. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the Rolex bubble actually pops and how much blood in the street there actually is. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because they're flying high right now, but it's going to be interesting to see the ripples that go through the whole Rolex market when that bubble pops and people start panicking. I would never buy any of those three. There you go. Yeah, I don't think I would either. You can get both the Lang and the VC for less than the FPJ CB. Okay. It's true because of inflation. Okay, Rolexes will never be worth nothing, but the company is waging a covert war against flippers and speculators. They don't want their becoming volatile commodities. Look at the Panerai example. Products becoming more volatile. Yeah, but see, I don't think, here's the thing, there's not that much that Rolex can do about it, except for really cracking down on the ADs, that the ADs are careful who they sell to, but I don't know how easy that is to enforce. You know, the AD might think they're selling to a legitimate buyer, and that buyer may end up flipping it anyway. I mean, I don't know how much they can control that situation. I think the thing that's gonna remedy that situation is if we have an economic downturn and a lot of these speculators start trying to get rid of those watches and the market starts panicking because there's too much supply all of a sudden, and the prices start plummeting, and then other people start panicking and start trying to sell their watch, and you know how it is. It's musical chairs, and there's only so many chairs. It could be a mess, and that could bring things back to normal. And what I call normal is the watch is in stock at the ADs. You can walk in and pretty much buy whatever watch you want. And on steel watches, you can get from anywhere from 10 to 20% discount. On gold watches, 30, maybe if you're lucky, even up to 40% discount, you know, much heavier discount on the gold watches. That's what we used to get back in the day, is those kinds of discounts. That's normal for Rolex. What's happening now and what's been happening the last several years is not normal. It's an anomaly. And I think it's going to come to an end at some point, just like I think this overheated stock market is going to come to an end at some point. And we don't know when. We don't know when, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let's see here. The blue dial of the FVJ is jelly-like in texture, which is quite rare and mesmerizing, but I would say it's not the typical style of a dress watch. There you go. That's not much return. A double in 20 years is not much more than 3% per year on the road and listening, but couldn't resist pulling over and texting this fact. Craig, keep teaching returns. Our Wag's in the house, actually out and about. He's out making things happen. Our Wags is in motion. I wonder if he's wearing a cashmere sport coat today. Our Wags, do you have any cashmere sport coats? I love cashmere. I found out a long time ago when I got my first cashmere sport coat. I was dating this young lady. She was gorgeous, really, really gorgeous. Let me know. I'll pull up a photo of her if you guys want to see. If you guys care, I can try to pull up a photo. And so I got my first cashmere sport coat, and we went out and we were dancing, and I had it on, and she was feeling the cashmere, and wanting to like get closer and hug me and stuff, and she's like all over me, right? And this was only like our second or third date. Jennifer, really, really gorgeous. But anyway, a lot of fun. But anyway, she's all over me, and I'm like wondering, what the hell's going on here? This normally doesn't happen, right? This was my first cashmere sport coat, so I didn't know that this was, normal for these, right? But anyway, so then finally I asked her. I said, Jennifer, I said, I'm not complaining, but you're kind of like, really like, kind of feeling me a lot, and your hands are like all over me. And she says, oh, I just love your jacket. It feels so nice. I said, I'm going to get more of these. And I started getting cashmere sweaters and everything, I mean, if the women just have to be all over it, I mean, I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's the deal there. These ADs withholding stickers, warranty cards, and requiring people to prove they still own watches are all attempts at dissuading speculators. Speculators aren't loyal long-term Rolex customers. Yeah, but that's kind of hard to do, and in some areas it's not even legal for them to do it. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a game of whack-a-mole. The problem with speculator-driven hype is people lose interest in a brand once they can't make a profit. That's toxic for the long-term brand loyalty that Rolex needs to maintain. And it'll probably, when the bubble finally bursts and things come back down to normal, it'll probably be a little rocky road for them for a while. But, you never know. Kyle says, pull that photo. Cashmere is too warm sometimes, though. Yeah, it has to be cool weather. And now I've got some summer weight cashmere that's much lighter weight. I've got a summer weight, spring and fall, right, really, cashmere sport coat that's much lighter that I can wear sometimes. But, yeah. Yes, I have 2 cashmere sport coats, one camel and one black. Also have a couple of cashmere long dress coats. There you go. Our Wag's in the house. He knows the value of cashmere. Cashmere, nice and warm, but very delicate. Not if you get high quality stuff. If you get the real stuff. Now, some of the stuff out of China is not as good, but the original cashmere that came from Kashmir, wherever the heck that is, like this coat here is probably 40 years old and is holding up fine. And I've got several cashmere sport coats that are decades old that are doing just fine. And I've got some sweaters that are also decades old that are doing fine. Don't let the moths get to them. Don't let those cashmere-eating moths get to them. Now, if you want something that's soft, that's a little more durable than cashmere, I've got a alpaca sport coat that's pretty nice. That's also very soft. And camel hair might be a little tougher than cashmere. But again, if you get high quality cashmere, it will tend to hold up just fine. Let's see. Antonio from Real Men, Real Style recommends getting a good cashmere sweater for those very reasons. Craig, you're not wrong. Do you own any Angora hair clothing? Angora. I don't know if I do. I might have a sweater or two, but I'd have to look in the cedar chest and see. I don't recall. I know I have a lot of cashmere sweaters. I have, like I say, some camel hair sport coats. I've got one alpaca that's Oxford, made by Oxford Clothes, and it's nice, really nice. But mostly cashmere. I've got about a dozen or so cashmere sport coats. Okay, so I promised Jennifer, let's see if I got an old vintage photo of Jennifer, that lovely young lady. Jennifer, I-F-E-R, let's see. Oh, for crying out loud. I-F-E-R. See if, Flickr's been having troubles. And I hope they don't go out of business, because I will be not a happy camper if they go out of business, because it's pretty much my database for photos. So, yes, all these on the top are all Jennifer, the lovely Jennifer. Yeah, I do like this photo. I do like this one. She wasn't real pleased. I told her, I said, pull that off your shoulder just a little bit. So she was willing to do it, but she wasn't real happy. Here we are out hiking, out for a little hike, and I wasn't wearing cashmere that time. But there's my Ray-Bans, and I was probably wearing like a GMT Master in that picture. I don't know what watch that was. I just don't remember. But and this was the early 80s. Let's see. Yeah, this one shows the lovely Jennifer's figure just a little bit. Anyway, she was a lot of fun. Not great pictures back in the day. Didn't take as much time and effort to take better pictures. I should have. Let's see here. Cedar is a good moth deterrent, but make sure you close your chest of drawers or armoires up tight. And I'll tell you another thing that people don't realize is one thing that you can do to help keep these things from being attacked is agitate them, wear them. The moth eggs or whatever that is that actually does the damage are fragile. They don't hold up well to being like jostled or brushed or so if you can't actually wear the jacket, take the hanger and take it on the hanger and just jostle it around, just brush it, just agitate the fabric. Do that fairly regularly during the winter and times when they might get attacked, actually year round. That helps a lot. I've only had a few suits. I don't think I've had a cashmere sport coat attacked. I've had a couple of wool suits attacked. I've had some moth damage on a couple of those over the years. And those were ones that weren't used, that were kind of like in the back of the closet and just kind of sat there stationary for like a couple of years. That's a recipe for disaster. You want them agitated and actually used, and you want to brush them. You don't want them to get dirty. The dirt it helps whatever lay the eggs and all. It helps if it's dirt. There's some dust or dirt. So all those kinds of things are issues. But yeah, you got to watch it. Yep, you got to watch it. All right, so let's see. What else? Have we solved all these issues? Is that it? I mean, we don't have anything else on the dress watches? I would have thought I'd have had more suggestions of competitive options of watches that I should look at. I would have thought there would have been some additional feedback on that. So let me know. Which model of sunglasses do you currently wear? I have a prescription, a pair of sunglasses in the car that I wear in the car. I have, excuse me, I have several pairs of Ray-Bans still from back in the day. My distance vision is not really that bad. It needs a little bit of correction. So in the car, I've got some glasses that are progressive, right, or whatever, that, you know, you can read with them and you can see distance, whatever, you know. And I've got them in both clear lenses for night and sunglasses for daytime. And those stay in the car all the time. Those are dedicated to use in the car. Around here, just generally, I use these just cheap reading glasses when I need, when I'm reading stuff like this. And then other than that, I don't wear any glasses, just because my eyes for distance are not that bad. So it just, to me, it's just a hassle to wear the glasses for distance. But for driving, I do wear them. So if that answers that question. Okay, how about a Jaeger-Lecoultre Master Ultra Thin? Yeah, again, I talked about the thinness the other day. I mean, earlier. Not the other day. Earlier. Well, and also in yesterday's show. The super, super thin watches that get down to like 7 millimeters thick and all that. I mean, to me, those look kind of silly. They look kind of too thin. And I question the durability in some ways, right? So I think if we get below like 9 millimeters, 9, 10 millimeters in that range, I think that's a sweet spot. I think if you get much thinner than that, down around 7 mils, which some of these real thin watches are, that would be, I think, a little scary to me, and I don't think they're as attractive. But let's try to pull that puppy up and see what it looks like. Let's see. And I'm going to do a time check while I'm doing this. And I guess we'll go to their official site here. Okay, so you were the JLC Master Ultra Thin. Now, are you talking about the perpetual calendar? Are you talking about something like this? Yeah, see how thin? Now that's thin for a perpetual calendar. That is thin. All right, so let's see what the actual thickness of this is. Technical details. It's a 39 mil watch. Don't tell me it doesn't show us the overall thickness. The movement is 4.72 millimeters, but does it not tell us the thickness of the watch? This is ridiculous. Huh. But again, here's the thing. What a watch looks like in a macro shot like this, like a close-up showing the whole dial, is not necessarily what it's going to look like in real life. That watch is kind of busy, and it was probably going to be harder to read, and I really don't need all that perpetual calendar stuff. Oh, come on. I don't need that crap either popping up. I like the case design. I like the shape of the case, the lugs, the way the lugs taper into the case and all. I mean, it's a good-looking watch. So, yeah, that without all the complications would definitely be a contender. But this moon phase watch, no. This other watch here, no. Where the heck? That can't be all they have. There's a Master collection. I'll tell you that some of these companies are just getting into making ugly watches. I don't get it. I don't get the trend towards ugly watches. See these watches on this page right here? Most of those watches I wouldn't even consider. I mean, they look goofy. They look, some of them just look like they're like some Chinese made like $40 watch or something. I mean, they look like clown watches. No. No, 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 no. I'm just going to pass. Let's see here. I would like to make a suggestion, but I truly believe that nothing compares to the Date 8. Maybe you could look at the larger size case model. It could be more legible than the 36 mil. It's heavy though. It's heavy, and I don't think I would want to wear that on a day-to-day basis. I think it'd be too clunky and too heavy. And no, I think, you know, for me, that is so legible that I'll stick with that for my day-to-day. But yeah, for you younger guys that have good eyes, absolutely. I wore the Date 8 for 40 years. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Absolutely, you guys should do that if you got good eyes. Absolutely, I would recommend it as a heavy use, daily use watch. How about the standard time or moon phase Master ultra thin? So I guess this is the Master. I'll see if I can pull it up here. Here's a Master ultra thin with the date. Let's see if they have a Master ultra thin without the date. I'm just looking here, and I'll bring it up. Master ultra thin small seconds. Okay, I don't like that. Here's an ultra thin date. I don't really want the date. Let's see if they have one with the large second hand without the date. No. I mean, the small second hand is not a deal killer, but I'm just not a fan. I'm still looking here to see if they have one that would. But yeah, the case designs are nice on a lot of these. Now some of these I'm looking at, yeah, they're a lot nicer than what I looked at earlier. Okay, so let me go. Here's one with a bracelet. Still trying. Okay, let me go back up to the top here and just pick one of these with the small seconds hand. See, here's one with a big second hand, but it's got the date. I don't really want the date. Ultra thin. Okay, here's one, you know, that's got the date. Let me find one in gold at least. Okay, so here's an ultra thin date with the date. You know, it's a great deal, I think, for the price. But again, I don't want rose gold. I want yellow gold. Okay, and yeah, I mean, it's just super, super thin. It's okay to have one that thin, but to me, it's not something that I would chase after. Yeah, this one is 7.8 millimeters. Very thin, right? I mean, I guess it would hold up fine. I guess it would be a non-issue, but I would be a little bit concerned about a watch that thin. And I'd rather have that watch right there in yellow gold with no date. Now, they might make it, and I just didn't find it. Let's see. Let's see. Minus 2. Okay. Diameter, thickness, lug to lug distance, mandatory specs to put on any site. I would think so. That moon face is a woman's watch. Okay. I vote DATEJUST as the best overall dress watch to wear every day. 100-meter roller resistance, rock solid movement, dial and bezel options, and looks great on a bracelet strap. Absolutely. My first watch was a DATEJUST in 1978. First watch I bought new, first Rolex, was a DATEJUST. And it had the American Jubilee bracelet on it, made in the USA. That bracelet. Yeah, it was fine. And I enjoyed that watch. $560, brand new. So it had the engine turned bezel, Jubilee bracelet. Was it 1979? Somewhere around there. Late 70s. Right around there. Okay, so ultra thin should mean, yeah, less than 7.5. Absolutely. Craig, what about Vacheron Constantin reference 82172? Okay, let's try to pull that up. See if it will come up here. 82172. I'm searching for that. Okay, it looks like to me like that watch also has a small seconds hand, if this is the one. Let's see if this opens it up. I mean, that's a good looking watch, but it's pink gold and it's got the small seconds hand. So, yeah. I guess I'm too old-fashioned wanting yellow gold, huh, folks? I guess I'm too old-fashioned on that number, but that's me. Let's see here. The older Explorer 2 is stunning. Okay. I like an Explorer as opposed to the Explorer 2 personally, but never mind, that's rose gold. Okay. I'd love to make a DATEJUST or Oyster Perpetual as my first luxury watch. Okay. Craig, you just won an award on the Crappy Luxury Channel. I don't know what that means. I think the Gold GS is easily the front runner at this point. Jaden in the house. Well, I'm going to have to look at it, but I everything I've seen so far, I'm impressed. I am impressed. The current Rolex Cellini line, okay. I like yellow gold, but white gold flies under the radar more with my personality. But see, I can, if I want to fly under the radar, I can wear this watch right here. Okay, I've already got an under the radar watch. I want an elegant dress watch that primarily I'd be wearing with a suit and French cuffs. I don't know if I'd even wear it with this outfit I have on now. I might just wear this with this outfit I have on now. You know, it depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going, all that sort of thing. But when I'm wearing a nice suit, French cuffs, going to a nice dinner somewhere nice, or nice party, nice event, you know, high end, I think it'd be nice to have a very elegant gold dress watch. And it would primarily be under my cuff. I wouldn't have it out. Like I don't wear my watches, get this one on this side of the bone, on the hand side. I don't wear my watches like that. You see people wearing their watches like this, right? Like just exposed, right? That's not how I wear my watches, especially my dress watch. So they would only be seeing, you know, the edge of the watch sometimes. And of course, if I check the time or something, they'd see like 3/4 of it or something, right? But they'd only be getting glimpses of it, which is, I think, the way to go. I think it's better if they just get a little glimpse of like a gold stunner. Now, if you have to hit them hard with it, like back in the day when I had the Date 8, you know, sometimes you'd hit them with it. You know, if you need to, you know, kind of give them the full shot. Sometimes you do that as a power move, right? But generally speaking, you're just letting them get like glimpses of that oyster case, that solid gold case, and a little glimpse of the president bracelet. You know, just kind of like letting them have a little shot here and there is kind of a good way to do that. Let's see here. You can actually get a lot of good deals on the secondary market for yellow gold dress watches. Those aren't really popular right now. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's a good point. Fair enough, gold dress watches are designed to tuck under your jacket cuff, not hang off your wrist while wearing a t-shirt and cargo shorts. There you go. It would be hard to beat, I guess he means to beat, that three-piece combo, GS Diver, GMT, and gold dress stunner. That's a good point. Jaden in the house. Craig, I'm frugal like you. If possible, I would try to buy a pre-owned gold watch with box and papers. Is that an option? R-Wags. Not that model. It's going to be very hard to find. Let's pull it back up here. It's going to be very hard to find that puppy. Now, I'm always fully transparent on this channel. And I can tell you right now that if Steve doesn't give me a really good deal on the watch, I'm probably not leaving there with the watch. Now, I will have cash money, and sometimes that's a big benefit when you've got cash money. Sometimes people want cash, and I don't care for what reason. I don't really care why they would want cash as opposed to a check or a credit card. It's not my position to ask, but if I have cash money and I'm offered a really good deal, then sometimes that cash money changes hands. And that's how I got that puppy right there for a pretty good deal, for what I think is a really good deal, actually. And that's how I got this puppy here for a really good deal. Cash money. Cash money. That's how that works. Day date knockout. Okay. And no, folks, wearing a gold watch while being dressed like a slob doesn't put you in line with someone wearing a tailored Oxford suit. Good point. So now I will tell you that I wore the day date a lot of times fully exposed too. Let me pull up a photo here. I think you guys may have seen this, but I'll pull up a photo of an example. All right, here's a recent example that my dad actually shared and I downloaded. And in that photograph there, I'm just wearing khakis and a polo shirt, actually from the Beverly Hills Polo Club. And that's the day date, fully exposed. So the day date is an all-arounder. I mean, you can absolutely wear that fully exposed in a sporting situation, no problem. But in that kind of a situation there, I don't think I'd wear the dress watch. I don't think I'd wear the straight-up dress watch. First of all, it was summertime, you'd be sweating, and the leather gets salt on it, and so on. And so, but, for a day date, absolutely you can wear that fully exposed. Absolutely you can. That's an example of that. Okay. No folks wearing a gold. Okay, you already read that. Okay. All right, so we're caught up. Let me know in the chat if there's any other comments or questions or whatever. And I think we really sorted this out. And now it's just a question of, will Steve get one in stock? Will he get a unit in stock? Will I go over and look at it? Yes, I will, if he gets it in stock. And will I like it? And if I like it, will he give me a good deal? So these are the questions that are hanging fire, if you will. The day date absolutely pops in that lighting. Well, here's the thing. He had the flash on the camera, so I'm sure the flash hit that. My dad took that picture with his old point and shoot. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think the EXIF data is on this, because I think this was a picture of a picture. Was it? Show EXIF data. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't think I have the EXIF data on this picture. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he had the flash turned on, and that's why it's reflecting as much as it does. But here's the thing, gold, 18 karat gold, yellow gold, it does pop. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It pops. And it's very hard to fake. It's very hard to make a day date out of something other than real 18 karat yellow gold and have it look real. They just, the tone doesn't look right. They just don't, they don't pop. It's not the same. It's hard to fake a day date. So, did Steve give you a timeline? Not yet. No, he hasn't. I just spoke with him about it on, was it Thursday or Friday? So he's just looking into it. I know he contacted his contact in New Jersey that he gets his watches from, Grand Seiko, and they said they had none in the country. So how long it takes them to then order from Japan, Grand Seiko, and get them in New Jersey, and then Steve get it, I don't know. But I mean, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. It's even at a good deal, it's going to be a lot of money. So I'm not in a particular hurry. And I may not get it. I mean, I'd give it a 20% chance at this point, you know. So we'll see. Maybe a 30 or 40% chance. I'll put it this way. If I get the word that it's in the country, the percentage chance will probably go up. And then if I get the word that it's at Steve's place, physically there, the percentage will probably go up to 40% at that point. So it's going to be a sliding scale as to how likely this whole thing is. Let's see. Nothing compares to that day date. I wish I bought it from you. There are a number of 18238s out there. But I'll tell you, they're getting more popular. So if you are interested in getting an 18238, I'd do it sooner rather than later, because the word is getting out that that's the watch to buy. And some people are waking up to that fact. So yeah, I'd get it sooner rather than later. That's true. A lot of gold-plated fashion watches right now. So a gold-colored watch is no longer too flashy. There you go. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Again, everybody, thank you for watching and for subscribing and for clicking the bell and getting the notifications and all these things that you do so that we can do these shows. Steve's a businessman, and he probably knows how many watches you're responsible for selling by little treasury. I believe he will give you a good deal. Our wag's in the house. Yes, he will. He'll treat me right. Steve's a good guy. He even treats my subscribers right. If you call him and you say that you watch the show, he'll give you a good deal. He'll take good care of you people. Have a great one, folks, says Cheetown. Thank you very much. Let's do one final time check while I wrap this puppy up. Let's see here. And we're going to say we're going to complete event.